Are we on, Darren?
We are on, yes, sir.
We are on. Okay. Well, hopefully my internet does not take a crap like it did Friday night, and we can stay on here for the duration of our meeting. Welcome everybody to the final meeting of the U.S. Pirate Party for 2024. My name is Drew Bingaman. I will be your captain for this evening, and we'll go around and introduce ourselves. Is fellow Jitseer with us yet, or did he take a break? He might be on a break. Then we'll go to
break.
Then we'll go to Darren.
Okay, hi, I'm Darren McKeeman. I am the quartermaster for the California Pirate Party and the United States Pirate Party, coming to you from San Francisco in the lovely Pier 39 Tenants Lounge.
All right, awesome. Ty.
Hello, I'm Ty Clifford, VC of the Pirate Party, United States Pirate Party, and West Virginia Observer.
Awesome. Johnny? Are you with us, Johnny? Going once, going twice. We'll come back.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
John Robinson, Secretary of the Pennsylvania Pirate Party.
Hey, it's all good. These things we're all novices at some level on this. All right, Mitch.
Ahoy. Ahoy. Jolly Mitch of the Chicagoland Nye, the Illinois Pirate Party, a voting member of the Illinois Pirate Party, friend of the show.
David, and then we'll go to our special guests.
Yep, I'm David with the Florida Pirate Party.
All right, thank you, David. Gennady.
Yes, thank you for having me on. I am Gennady Stolirov II, chairman of the United States Transhumanist Party.
Thank you. And Dan.
Yeah, coming to you from Thousand Oaks, Ventura County, California. I'm Dan Tweed, Extra Class Ham, KK6VDR is the call, and the Community Science Officer for the U.S. Transhumanist Party and perennial candidate.
Hey, that's awesome. I mean, I think I don't know. Awesome. I don't know if anybody else is an elected official. Oh, we got Wanda. Would you like to introduce yourself, Wanda? Oh, maybe.
I'm not an elected official. Maybe. I just run.
Run.
Yeah.
That's still good, though. That's still good. That's still good stuff. Appreciate that.
I wanted to break in and say hello to a fellow ham radio enthusiast. I am KF6FJO.
Oh, very cool. 73.
I am. I have a ham license too, but it's currently lapsed. I need to renew it. So.
There's a grace period. Yeah, I lost it. You got to do it before the grace period.
How long is the grace period?
I think it's 2 years, but I could be wrong.
I think I might still be in that. But it's not that big deal if I have to test again.
Yeah.
Although I'll lose my call sign, but that's okay. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. If Wanda comes back with us, we'll have Wanda intro. But all right. There we go. Fellow Jitseer, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, you're no audio right now.
I would. Thanks. I'm Alan Crowley. I am a member of the U.S. Transhumanist Party, and I am kind of the Texas representative. So I say that as that I'm the only Texan involved nationally, I think. But other than that, that's how you get there, I guess.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Wanda, you're back. Are you with us?
I am. I had to join from my phone because my computer is acting up.
I hear you. So go ahead and ID for us.
I'm Wanda. I'm the Florida voting representative.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay, everybody. Do we have anything, any updates, reports, anything we need to get to? No hands. Oh, wait. Darren, Mitch.
I have just one thing. An update to the potential of having the party convention here in San Francisco. we've been offered a venue here, which is basically my ship, the SS Jeremiah O'Brien. So we've been offered that as a venue to have our political party or our political convention.
That sounds
So
awesome.
That's just one. So yeah, that's just that's the only development in that area. I'll keep you all updated on the other things.
Awesome.
But yeah, I should have more information about that after. I'll have more information of that after January 1st.
Okay, awesome. And I think we're going to take up the talking about opening up our bylaws so that it'll fit in your time frame. Like that will be our first order of business come January. So, Mitch, you had your hand up.
We do actually. Oh yeah, sorry.
Mitch, you had your hand up, and then we'll go to Johnny.
Just wanted to say welcome to our guests from the Transhumanist Party. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm looking forward to the business we get done tonight. It's been a pleasure working with you guys this weekend. It truly, I'm very happy with how everything has turned out so far. And then I wanted to say that on Wednesday, we will be announcing changes to the Illinois Pirate Party, just internal structure, bylaw updates. They are actually presently updated on the website now, but the official announcement's scheduled for Wednesday at noon. So that will be official. I just hope to kind of have a soft reboot of the party. I've broken up the branches internally, so there's going to be, we went from 5 branches to 12. I just hope to get a little more localized. That was something I was preaching all day today, and I'm hoping to have praxis towards it. So here's to it.
Thank you very much. Johnny.
How big is your ship? How many people can it have on it?
Well, the most we have the most we can have if we're actually taking it out cruising is 850 people.
Okay, never mind. That sounds fine.
The space where we're talking about having the convention, it'd probably be a couple of hundred people that it would hold. It's the museum deck, it's the tween deck, number 2 tween deck, and it's pretty big. The only downside to the ship is that it is not handicap accessible at all. So that's the only problem with it.
Well, I think we might be able to, if we have that issue, we might be able to work around that. I think so. We'll do our best to work around that.
But it is a 1943.
Right. Okay. Johnny, do you have anything else, or was that it?
No, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Anything else we need to discuss or talk about before we talk to our guests? No hands. Ty, go ahead.
Yes. So I kind of dropped the ball on the voting times, but from the conclusion, I'm gonna say it now, and I guess we can all agree or disagree. I don't think anyone wants to change the time.
Our meeting times?
Yeah, I think because we got such low responses on the last one, it was either in the morning or the same time, or it would be come on, Kitty, right now. And it would be either tonight or Tuesday, I think were the days. I could have it wrong. But I think it's safe to just quash that poll and just continue on with our regular Sunday meetings until it arises again that our times are not aligning.
Okay. I think that sounds good. And does anybody have any objections to that? I mean, we hadn't actually made it a formal motion to actually.
No, we never did. It was just one of those things where we just weren't meeting properly. And then all of a sudden we're meeting properly.
Right.
So,
like I've said many times, life gets in the way sometimes, and it just happens, and we just march on. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay.
Any
Here, how about this? One bit of business before we bring our guests to talk to our guests. When do we want to have our first meeting of the year?
I say the 5th personally. That's one. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, January 5th is the first Sunday.
Yeah, I think the 5th is appropriate.
Anybody have any other
The
suggestions?
5th, yes, the 5th.
Sounds like. Any objections?
No.
No objections?
No.
All right. Well, then that's taken care of. We will be back on the 5th, Sunday the 5th, first Sunday of the year. We will be back here on Jitsi. All right. Well, that satisfies everything I think I needed to deal with, and we will talk about our bylaws change. That'll be the big thing. Talking about the bylaws change for our upcoming convention in 2025. So we will get that taken care of, so Darren can not be worried about it. All right. Well, welcome to the Transhumanist Party. I know we had a little bit of I personally had a bit of a false start Friday night with Talk the Plank, but thank you three for joining us. Gennady, I'll just let you give an introduction. How about that?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Drew, and thank you also to Mitch and Darren for hosting us, as well as for participating in the prior conversations we had on Talk the Plank and our Virtual Enlightenment Salon earlier today. The U.S. Transhumanist Party has been in existence for a bit over 10 years now, since October 7th, 2014, and I became its second chairman in its history on November 17th, 2016, so a bit over 8 years now. The U.S. Transhumanist Party stands for putting science, health, and technology at the forefront of American politics. We have 3 core ideals. The first core ideal is the pursuit of significant life extension through the progress of science and technology. The second core ideal is the pursuit of a rational societal, political, and cultural atmosphere through science, technology, and rational discourse. And the third core ideal is the use of science, technology, and rational discourse to reduce and hopefully eliminate the existential risks facing the human species. So within that framework, we have done a lot of life extension advocacy, but also advocacy for other emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, automation, space exploration, vertical farming, and social technologies as well, ways in which technology can enable more human collaboration, more problem solving, more rational discourse. We are a party that puts policy above politics, meaning we do not like the polarized partisan politics of the duopoly that prevails in the United States today. We would like to find and build a different approach where people of various perspectives can come together through science and technology, but also through applied rationality, and figure out essentially how can we actually overcome some of the historic problems of the human species and that human civilization has been wrestling with in a way that actually benefits everybody.
Well, that is a heck of an elevator speech, and I need to work on mine. But thank you. I think we agree definitely on collaboration over fighting with other parties. I think it is always better to have a conversation where we can, it's better to have a conversation than a fight, or where we get to a point where we're not even listening to each other anymore, which is where we're at in United States mainstream politics. So yeah, that is definitely some good stuff. I know we've reached out to a couple other groups that are burgeoning parties, and we plan to try to get some collaborations where we can. And this is our first biggest step. So thank you guys for coming along and joining us here and starting the conversation. Mitch, you look like you have something to kick in here.
No, I'm just really watching. I'm just enjoying watching this all play out in front of me.
Oh, okay. I thought I was thinking you might have something for our guests.
No, not yet. I suppose. Yeah, I've just been. I'm just watching from the sidelines. I will raise my hand once I have something to say. But
okay,
right now I'm
Fair
watching
enough.
this play out right now.
I mean, and for the record, I'm basically opening up the floor to anybody that has any questions for Gennady or the other fellow transhumanists that are here. If you have any other questions, what things look like. Well, Mitch, now you got your hand up.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll open the floor up.
Go ahead.
So I suppose the question should be, moving forward. I enjoyed this weekend. I enjoyed collaboration with you all, and I think that our parties are beyond similar. I think the overlap is very great. I was impressed today, Gennady. Every time you would send, I would say something, and you'd send me something from the platform of the Transhumanist Party, and I'm like, man, that's good. You're good. And I really do think that this could be the beginning of an important coalition between our two parties. So I would like to open the floor and just ask, what would you hope to see from our two parties if we continue to work together in collaboration?
Yes, I think that's a great question. And after my remarks, I believe Alan would have some ideas in this regard as well. I think we could learn from one another organizationally, and Alan could delve into that in a bit more detail. I also think we could help one another with tracking legislation or developments at, for instance, state and local elections. If we each field various candidates, if the Transhumanist Party fields candidates, or if the Pirate Party fields candidates, there is room, in my view, for mutual endorsements, because the U.S. Transhumanist Party platform and constitution do allow us to endorse candidates from other parties who share our values. We would have to put those endorsements up for a vote of our membership, but that is definitely something that could be arranged. And ultimately, that would mean we each have broader coverage of areas of the United States where there are important issues to be addressed, where perhaps we could make some progress on matters that are of importance to both of our organizations. And furthermore, because we are each in favor of more individual freedom, more individual privacy online, we are opposed to the abuses of copyright, including the abuses that happen online. We could essentially be part of a network that defends individual content creators when they come up against these kinds of abuses. When there is a corporation, for instance, wrongfully asserting a copyright prerogative against a creator, and that person might be underpowered, that person might not have the monetary resources of that corporation, but still the court of public opinion is important. And one person who has inspired me from time to time, I see his social media posts, and he has been a guest on our virtual enlightenment salons, is Spike Cohen, the previous 2020 vice presidential candidate of the Libertarian Party. He will sometimes have campaigns where he asks his supporters to help a particular individual or a particular family that has gotten in trouble, sometimes, for instance, unjustly prosecuted or unjustly abused in some ways by the police. And this community that he has rallied behind him has often helped these people, for instance, with paying their legal bills or just getting the word out, making sure people are aware that some injustice has happened, but there is a way to correct it. And I think we could be part of a network, essentially, that helps people who have done nothing wrong, who are trying to, let's say, promote their art or their music or their writings, and they run afoul of this copyright system, or algorithmic censorship, for example, which is rampant on social media. That could be another way in which we collaborate, and of course continuing to have these discussions on policy. I know the Pirate Party is working on expanding its platform, and you're free to draw ideas from the U.S. Transhumanist Party platform. Likewise, we could look at some of the positions of the Pirate Party platform and see if our members might vote to adopt similar positions where we don't have positions yet.
I like to call that digital liberation, Gennady. That's my catchphrase for all of the digital civil rights. I like to call it we are pro digital liberation, and that's from corporate or governmental overlords. So, I think we're pretty much in agreement there.
I like that. It's digital liberation. That's
digital liberation.
Yeah.
Johnny, you have your hand up.
Okay. This is going to be a bit long and a bit winding. I'm sorry about that, but it occurred to me today. First of all, I just want to say I like transhumanism. I've been a transhumanist for decades. I'm all aboard transhumanism. But earlier today, I was having a discussion online about Luigi Mangione, the claims adjuster. Who I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. And they were saying, well, I heard that he's ultra far right. I said, no, I understand that his views are all over the place. I think someone called him Gray Tribe. And they said, oh, yeah, Gray Tribe, that's far right. Also, he's a TESCREAL. I don't know if you know the term TESCREAL.
Yes, I do. It's a term that's sometimes used to kind of lump together adjacent communities. So it includes transhumanists, extropian singularitarians, I think critical rationalists, effective altruists, and the L maybe stands for libertarians.
Long-termism.
Long-termism, yes. So these are adjacent communities. They're not all the same, though. So, for instance, I'm a transhumanist. I wouldn't call myself an effective altruist because I have some concerns about the priorities within the effective altruist community. I think they place too much of an emphasis on existential risks stemming from AI and too much of an emphasis on donating to large organizations where one's donation would not make that much of a difference compared to helping a smaller initiative that might not be rated by some, let's say, group that monitors charities, but might actually be doing more direct good. So that's just one example. But TESCREAL, yes, I'm familiar with the term, and I'm familiar with essentially how sometimes outsiders to all of these communities kind of use it as a general descriptor.
Yes, a general descriptor of people like Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen and everyone who is so big on AI and crypto and is thus loving the Trump administration, because evidently they're going to be the champions of that. I mean, when I look at what makes up the acronym TESCREAL, I don't find much disagreement with myself. I'm a transhumanist, extropian, singletarian, rationalist, effective altruist, maybe not quite the way people mean it, but I like my altruism to be effective. I just think it is very important going forward with what I believe is a good alliance with the Transhumanist Party, that we emphasize we're not those guys. We're not Mark Andreessen. We're not Peter Thiel. We have nothing to do with Elon Musk. We have to, not only for the very, I think, valid reason to attract other third parties, but also just for our own, be able to look ourselves in the mirror in the morning. So I do approve of allying with the Transhumanist Party. I am all for that. But when TESCREAL comes up, and it will come up, we need to be able to say confidently, we're not those guys. We're a left TESCREALism or something like that. Because if we don't have a good, positive, ready answer for those inevitable questions, then we're going to be in trouble. I'm just going to put that out there. That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Johnny. Darren, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so being here in the middle of San Francisco, where all these chuckleheads are, Mark
Yeah.
Andreessen, and all these folks, I have to say the one thing that sets the Pirate Party apart from all these folks is that we believe in democracy. Peter Thiel's famously said that he does not believe that capitalism and democracy are compatible, and I repudiate that with every fiber of my being. I think that democracy is the only way forward for a fair world, and that's my view. There's a lot of folks here that are swayed by the cult of personality because they think that somehow these folks are going to fund their startup or whatever, and they're all fools. These people don't care anything about them. They're just trying to make it easier for them to implement a rent extraction scheme on the entire country. So
Right.
that's my say. I don't want any part of that.
Well, I mean, for my perspective, anybody that has an episode of Behind the Bastards done about them, I don't want to be anywhere near them. I mean, and things, people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, I mean, because they are big tech guys, we are inevitably going to share some ideas with them. We don't, it's not that that we want to follow them. If we wanted to follow them, we'd be the Elon Musk party or the Peter Thiel party, and that's definitely not what we want to be. I think the agreement. I'm in agreement there that that a lot of these big tech billionaires are really all about themselves and taking care of themselves and enriching themselves. And I'm not really sure if capitalism is compatible with any good good form of society in the end. I mean, it's what we've got, and so, but that's just my opinion. Mitch, you've got your hand up.
Oh, yes. I wanted to just say that I think with any political, I guess I'll call it subgroup, but for any political party, you're going to have the unfortunate association, I'll call it, where there is going to be a group of people that you are perhaps unfairly grouped with. And I think that's something that, I, former member of the Libertarian Party, I saw a lot of libertarians I was grouped in with I wasn't a fan of. And I see a lot of people grouped in with, the Pirate Party, or grouped in with the Greens, or grouped in with the Democrats and Republicans. There's a very unfortunate association that happens with every party. And I think it's our responsibility then to just separate ourselves or overcome that. And I don't think that's a difficult thing. I think that's just a product of putting ourselves out there properly, communicating our messaging properly. It's something that should be addressed, and I'm glad we are addressing it, but I don't think it's something that is going to be our downfall. I think that our two parties have both overcome our names as it is, which is something that people will turn their nose at immediately sometimes. And if people are going to turn their nose at pirate or transhumanist, then they may just have already formed their opinion. They weren't open to learning about us anyways. So we're gonna get hate, and we're gonna get unfair comparisons no matter what. It's going to have to be our responsibility to adapt, overcome, and show that we're not the people you associate with us.
All right, Dan, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a somewhat storied past in the libertarian movement. I'm a lifetime member of the Society for Libertarian Life, where, when I was 19, I started making buttons for their catalog. And, there was this typesetting shop in Santa Ana called Athena Graphics. And at one point, my friend said, "Hey, there's so many libertarian organizations, and we have this postcard from the Encyclopedia of Associations. They want to give you a free listing. Let's just call ourselves the Libertarian Illuminati, and I'll put you down as president. Is that okay?" So, if you get the 1984 Encyclopedia of Associations, you'll see me listed as president of the Libertarian Illuminati. And this actually got me a visit from the FBI at one point, because there was a guy threatening a judge, and he claimed he had a mind control device. And the FBI agents actually said before they left, "You don't have any mind control ray guns out there in your van."
That's great.
That's crazy
moment, but yeah. So, but I realized early on that the Libertarian Party has departed from the Jean Locke and Rousseau definitions of property. You shouldn't be able to monopolize things that should be commons, like air and water and sunlight and land. And if we're going to go into space and start, doing solar system resources, we're not going to do it like finders keepers, kind of system.
Do you have a flag? I mean,
so
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Henry George, what you could call land capitalism. I like that term. Where you pay a user fee that's market-based, and that fixes the problems with capitalism and with libertarianism and democracy right there. If we could just promote that vision of land capitalism, solar dividends, permaculture. I run a nonprofit called Permatrail, which has the goal of connecting all the urban permaculture spaces in the world eventually. Big project, but it's halfway done if you want to start calculating Greenway corridor areas. But the Blue Way corridor is the one that really excites me. That's the one that's wide open. So I would love to see collaboration on sovereignty at sea. Vote with your boat. There's a great project called Atlas Island. And there's Freedom Haven, run by Anthony Olson. He's kind of a Christian libertarian stripe, and I'm kind of have this greater creator brand of transhumanism that I think we are not here as a result of randomness. There's some greater creative force that expects greater creative things of us, and it's just a crazy faith I have, but we'll see. Right, I'm open to possibilities, but that's my little rant about how to fix libertarianism. I love the non-aggression principle. Don't initiate force. That should be a human right. That should be in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I would love to see 99% of government, something you can check out from the library and do with digital mode mesh networks and stuff like that. And I think we're very close to implementing stuff like that at a very local level of the hyper local rap that Jolly Mitch was putting out today. So anyway, I hope that made sense. I'll stand by.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely did. I know, I know Johnny and I came from the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania when that was completely axe murdered by some fascists, and we decided that we needed to find a new home. So yeah, I think a lot of us start in looking at libertarianism at some point and come and find a home with one of our two parties. So that obviously we have a lot of common ground. So that's great. Gennady, you've got your hand up.
Yes, so there are many points to respond to. First of all, the U.S. Transhumanist Party is clearly committed to democracy because we have internally implemented ranked choice voting before any state or municipality in the U.S. adopted it. And furthermore, we would like to see that reform adopted countrywide. There's a reason why the Republican and Democratic parties both staunchly oppose ranked choice voting. It would threaten their privileged position, and it would extricate people from this perceived lesser evil trap. Furthermore, of course, we support innovations such as digital blockchain-based voting, which leaves an audit trail, which is very difficult to commit fraud with. Actually, there was an example of a poll conducted by the Free and Equal Elections Foundation for minor party candidates to qualify for their first open presidential debate this year. And our candidate, Tom Ross, was part of that poll, but tens of other candidates were part of that poll as well. And it was done using blockchain-based voting. There was one mistake that the organizers of the poll committed, unfortunately, and that was to associate each vote with a unique phone number, but they didn't validate whether the phone number came from a unique individual. So what happened was one of the parties, interestingly enough, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, used a lot of these VoIP phone numbers that can be generated on demand. And Daniel Tweed was actually the one who caught this practice, and we were able to essentially document what was happening, how the Party for Socialism and Liberation was gaining ridiculous amounts of votes, like thousands of votes per second in this poll, whereas before they were just climbing in the vote count gradually like the other candidates were. And they were able to do an audit of the blockchain record, and they spotted the irregularities, and they actually published the results of the audit. So this is an example of how an early blockchain-based system, while it wasn't perfect, was able to detect voter fraud. And I think some people are afraid of online voting or voting machines, but really, if you have an auditable system like a blockchain, then that concern is greatly diminished at the very least. I will also say about powerful, influential multimillionaires and billionaires, of course, the Transhumanist Party has never received support from them. And part of that is we don't really focus on gathering large donations. We aren't that kind of organization. But furthermore, it doesn't seem like those individuals really take an interest in supporting minor political parties or organizations that are truly based on ideas and principles. They do have different motives. And I was a bit disappointed, especially in Mark Andreessen, whom I had significant respect for. And I still think a lot of his writings, especially about the need to build the need to actually proactively advance the technological development of our civilization, those writings have merit. But his support for Trump surprised me. And I think that support largely arises from other motivations. Perhaps he thinks Trump will be better for business or for the businesses that he is invested in. With Elon Musk, again, I think Elon Musk has made valuable contributions, especially to electric vehicles, to space travel, to solar energy. Certainly those three technological fields are much further along than they would have been without Elon Musk's influence and without the businesses that he operates. But he does tend to go way out of his depth in commenting on fields where he doesn't have that expertise, and he has made egregious statements, for instance, about how it would not be desirable for people to live significantly longer because you need this generational turnover in order to have innovation, in order to have new ideas. And when I was listening to this, I was thinking, well, you're not going to apply that same argument to automobile safety and say, well, we can't have perfectly safe automobiles. We need accidents in order to have progress or something like that, or to have vehicular turnover. And furthermore, Elon, I think, fails to grasp that perhaps some of the rigidity that he perceives in the thinking of prior generations is due to diminished neuroplasticity with biological aging. So if the body and the brain can be made more youthful, that could very well be reversed as well. And people's minds could be as receptive to new ideas as they would be when they were biologically younger. So I do think, a distinction there needs to be made. Obviously, Elon Musk doesn't even call himself a transhumanist, even though some people would associate the label with him. There is a difference between being an explicit transhumanist and an implicit transhumanist. An explicit transhumanist is somebody like John who would identify as such. An implicit transhumanist could be anybody who uses technology to fundamentally transform their lives and what they're capable of doing or achieving, or how long or with what quality of life they're able to live. So people who use mobile phones could be considered implicit transhumanists. People who have, say, a pacemaker could be considered implicit transhumanists, but they might not even be aware of the term. So could we say Elon Musk is an implicit transhumanist? Yes, but he has some contradictory ideas. He has some questionable ideas. And I think we in the Transhumanist Party and in the Pirate Party should try to use persuasion, should try to use whatever reach we have on social media to perhaps change the minds of people like Elon Musk and Mark Andreessen and Peter Thiel and anybody who would listen, and convince them that there is a better way, a more consistent way, and it doesn't involve supporting Donald Trump. It involves supporting political parties that actually care about principles and good policies that help human beings.
Well, thank you. Alan, you have your hand up, and then we'll go to Johnny.
Yeah, thanks. What a great segue. Thank you, Johnny, for setting me up. Yeah, we want to find principles that we can agree on and practice principles. But the first area of agreement, I think, where we can find common ground is on how cool it would be, Darren, to have our political convention on your boat. So I think you can probably get the USTP on board, so to speak, for an activity like that. I think that's an awesome idea. But yeah, I want to go back to like the kind of I call it a value stack. I don't know. There's got to be a philosophical development. I'm sure in philosophy there's a formal term for it, but basically from whatever a person's values are, but must include like individual rights before you can get to democracy, right? Because if you don't value individual rights, then slave labor is okay, right? And that's not going to get you to real democracy. I think, and then you've got to value a democratic system before you can get to a market system, right? Because you can steal goods, you can donate goods, or you can trade goods. I mean, that's kind of the three ways that goods get exchanged. And clearly the market system of exchange of trading is kind of what we've come to enjoy. And typically where it's, for better or for worse, typically where it's for worse is where there's government involvement in removing the liberty of choice and making those things coercive. I get a kick out of the insurance, health insurance market, which is, what's outside the government mandated. Already government, has poked their finger into what businesses can and cannot do. So if you don't have a job to get health insurance, you've got to go to the government marketplace, however that works. And I don't think anybody's ever figured that out. But kind of a third point I wanted to just kick around here, because I think both of our parties, or maybe we're the transhumanist pirates, as it were, it's just this idea of democracy through history. History, when it's a small hunter-gatherer group, great. You've got democratization, and to the extent we were ever really hunters or gatherers and not just scavengers, but you still have a pretty good set of democratic principles that can work there. But as humanity has scaled, democracy has not been able to scale. And I think when you look at big, large organizations, early empires, all very top down. Recently we have the Roman Empire and European empires, all the way to nation states, and it was I keep wanting to call you Jolly Mitch, but okay, Jolly Mitch. So I was like, said, that you guys sort of valued, or at least the his branch of the Pirate Party really valued the United States over the Americas, right? Like Mexicans are also Americans as well as Brazilians and Venezuelans and Canadians, but the United States is the nation that we're part of, and I think that's really important. And I mean, that idea that politics is local and this kind of locality versus nationality, I think is an interesting dimension to explore. And I think it's technology, going back to this historical perspective, technological development with radio and well, I mean, from the megahorn right out to the to radio to TV, et cetera. And now the internet has brought us the capabilities of really leveraging and scaling democracy, right? Literally at a planetary level, we could do things now, especially with a lot of local guidelines. So, yeah, my hope and my reason for being here, thank you for the invitation, Mitch, is that, I want to find some common ground where we can network our communication and our goals of individual liberties and markets and technological development in a way that becomes democratic, because these technologies that are out there could easily become oppressive and authoritarian surveillance, states or whatever. So I just want to throw that 2 cents in there, and man, I hope you guys do your convention on a boat, because that just sounds really cool to me. Anyway, I'll as a guest, I will shut up and let you guys carry on with your meeting, and thanks. And I'll turn the floor over to John, I guess.
Yeah, Johnny, go ahead.
First, just want to say I am absolutely not surprised that the Party of Socialism and Liberation did that. That sounds completely in character with them. Second, last meeting, there was some talk about developing a common platform or something, attempting or working towards a fusion party. I was wondering if there's any further updates or ideas on that.
I don't have any updates on that. Mitch, do you have any updates on that?
Well, just to kind of catch everyone up to speed, what the discussions were last week, if you didn't see the live stream of our PNC meeting, was the discussion of our two parties building a coalition together. Now, in Uruguay, and this is kind of what I'm using as my base model. In Uruguay, they have the Broad Front, which is a coalition of a bunch of minor, in their case, leftist, socialist, communist, left-leaning parties. But they realized, we're really not getting anything done being all the small parties. We should form together. And when they formed the Broad Front, they had members still running as members of their party, but they were on the national ticket of the Broad Front. And even though you still had, Communist Party of Uruguay, Democratic Socialist Party of Uruguay, Green Party of Uruguay, you had all these politicians running under their party of choice, and the party that they align most with, and the party that they think is most suitable for the campaign that they're running on. However, when they're running, on this ticket, it is nationally endorsed from this coalition of parties together. And what I was kind of angling for, hoping for, is seeing something similar for our parties, to say, even though we still have candidates that are United States Pirate Party candidates, there are also candidates that are United States Transhumanist Party candidates. And we're not trying to eliminate the identity from our two parties. In fact, it's trying to promote the identity of our two parties, that we work better together, that we have a lot more in common than we have difference, that we are very reasonable people, and if you get to know us, you'd understand. And I think that our candidates are going to be some of the most reasonable candidates put forward. And I think that at the end of the day, the Pirate Party in 2026 can run 3 candidates, and you guys can run 3 candidates, or if we worked together, that's 6 candidates run in a coalition. So I just think that it's one of those cases where I said it before, even though we work, the more local you get, more localized you get, but we work better together. And I think there's a lot of growing we could do concurrently with one another.
One thing I will say to speak to that is that everybody knows that a Democrat is not a Democrat necessarily. Or a Republican is not a Republican. Both of their parties have very wide-ranging, the candidates and elected officials and the party officials are all over a spectrum of mostly right for the Republicans and mostly left for the Democrats, and there's crossover in there too in the middle where some that are close go a little bit right and they're still a Democrat. And so I think maybe having something like that where we can say these are the things that we agree on and we're working together on, but we still maintain our brands, that you can tell, like if I'm a pirate candidate and we're running on this coalition ticket, that that some of my I'm in agreement with the pirate with the pirate party platform, and that if Gennadi's running for office under a fusion ticket, and he's still labeled as transhumanist, you will see that that it's a better breakdown, and it is better. It gives the voters more information, in my opinion. So I think that's a really good idea, and I like that, and I think we should continue to explore that. And yeah, that sounds great.
I can offer a quick case history.
Sure, yeah.
Natasha Vita Moore ran as a Green Party and got elected for the LA City Council because the Green Party was very impressed with her Humanity Plus transhumanist program. But I don't know, do you have the details on what the outcome of that was? But that's a great example of a Green Party transhumanist actual case history.
Yes. So she did run. This was in the early 1990s, and I will try to give you the exact details right now. So she ran under her given name Nancy Clark in 1992 for the County Council of the Green Party of Los Angeles County, representing the 28th State Senate District, but she resigned her seat 1 year later in 1993, and based on what I heard from her on this, she was frustrated with the internal politics of the Green Party. I think she was frustrated perhaps that there were insufficient techno-progressive leanings, that the Green Party wasn't at all focused on the role of technology in overcoming environmental problems. And so even though she won, she held that seat for a year and then she resigned in frustration. I would, of course, encourage transhumanist candidates or pirate candidates who get elected to office to serve the full length of their terms if possible, because that means one individually can make a greater impact. Even if one is a lone voice, at least one is a voice representing those ideas on that governing body. But that's the history. And there have been other transhumanists who have run for office since. There was Gerald Shields, and Gerald Shields was also elected to a city council position. This was in 2016 in Berwyn Heights, Maryland. He published an article about this on the U.S. Transhumanist Party website, and he served from October 2016 to May 2018, and it seems that he was the first Transhumanist Party member to hold political office during the time period that the Transhumanist Party existed. So if you want to find out about Gerald Shields, he also helped out with the founder of the U.S. Transhumanist Party, Zoltan Istvan's original presidential campaign. He describes all of that in his article.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Awesome. Thank you both. Mitch, is this on this topic, or can I go to Dustin real quick?
Go ahead to Dustin.
Okay. Dustin, I didn't forget about you, and welcome. And if you would identify yourself first, please.
Hi, I'm Dustin Etz from Virginia. Yeah. So, pirate and also like the auditor for the U.S. Pirate Party. But
You have the floor. Go ahead.
so, just things I guess I wanted to bring up in terms of, since particularly transhumanists are like sort of tech oriented, especially. So something I know we would love to collaborate on is like technology stuff and democracy stuff, if you guys are interested. Two projects that I often work on in my spare time. One is a generalized research platform for auto integrating different Python frameworks, which might be useful if you guys are working on any sort of research in parallel to similar things. It automates creating databases and APIs and gives no code for using those together. And then also direct democracy platform, which isn't quite as well developed at this point. But for developing policy, it could be a way, if people are interested in working on that, like to collaborate on policies later down the line once that's further developed. But also like just it would be good if people are interested in those kinds of topics to like bounce ideas regardless, even if those don't end up being the particular projects we used or anything. But and also would love to hear any ideas from transhumanist side on things related to that, to find where skills overlap and people can collaborate on trainings or just projects that people are working on and such. It's cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Go ahead, Gennady.
Yes, I think there are opportunities for collaboration there. We have been looking for a long time for a viable online platform for facilitating ranked choice voting, because up to now we have been using Google Forms essentially, and it's possible to develop ranked choice polling questions using Google Forms and then collect people's responses in essentially an open office type of spreadsheet. And we have functioned with that, but it's a manually intensive process to tabulate the votes, as you can imagine, and to design those polls. So if we could have a dedicated online system where people could sign up and ranked choice voting questions, as well as simpler questions like yes, no, abstain types of questions, could be designed and then voted on by people who are registered on that platform, this would expedite the process in many important ways, because right now, to do a vote, I have to email the entire Transhumanist Party membership and keep emailing them during the voting period, because there are going to be stragglers. And usually with these kinds of efforts, either people respond right away, or maybe they'll respond at the last moment, but a lot of them will forget and they will need another reminder. So when I send out a reminder, all of a sudden I tend to get a boost in the number of people who vote. But it would be great if there were a system which people could keep up with that would have these questions posted even on an ongoing basis. And that would also enable even more small d democratic decision making. In terms of the database for research and exchanging insights about information we have researched, I would be interested in that as well, and discussing further how that would work.
Okay, Darren, I'm getting to the point where I think we might, if we're going to continue this discussion, I think it might be a good idea to reset the stream, stop the stream,
Yeah.
and restart it, because we'll be running into our hour limit here very soon, I think. So if you would,
Yes.
if you could take this opportunity to do that,
I sure will.
I think it's a good idea so that we don't just get cut off at some point. Good
Okay,
time for a break.
and all I have to do is stop it and start it again?
Yeah, just stop and start. It's mostly a Jitsi thing.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, then we're back. I think we're back. We should be
We
good.
are back.
We're back. All right, awesome.
We should be good.
Okay, now I just wanted
Okay,
to do that because, yeah. So go ahead, Darren.
Yeah. So if you in the chat, I pasted our GitHub for the California Pirate Party. We actually had a hackathon earlier this year to figure out the best way to do blockchain voting, and we found a framework that we're going to try and do a future hackathon to just sort of slap together a voting tool that we can all use. This was actually inspired by an incident that happened here earlier in San Francisco. The Harvey Milk Democratic Club, one of the major, political organizations in San Francisco, had a scandal where the president of the Harvey Milk Democratic Club, who got in there because of some of the tech billionaires here, was caught stuffing the ballot box for their endorsements for this year. There was no real way for them to do, good auditing, or they had a way to audit it, and the audit came up with this guy was stuffing the ballot boxes. But just the fact that he was able to actually do that is a big red flag. So that got me to thinking, how can we get something set up to where ballot boxes can't be stuffed? And that GitHub URL that I posted up there is actually a fork of an Open Zeppelin blockchain governor contract, which is basically just all blockchain voting. EVM has a nice mechanism for blockchain voting. It's just nobody's written very much for it yet. So that's sort of what we got to do.
Awesome. So it does look like we definitely have some of our awesome geeks, probably on both sides, that are into the programming, that can do that. I'm just a hardware guy, so I don't program. I don't do that. That's my brain doesn't work that way. But I do appreciate you guys that do it, and when you have some stuff to test, I'll be absolutely willing to help you test it. So I'm sure all of us here are pretty much in agreement with that. Who did I miss? Mitch, did I need to come back to you, or?
Well, all I really wanted to say was to drive the point home that even though I am taking inspiration for coalition building from Uruguay and the Broad Front over there, I should point out that in Australia, the Australian Pirate Party also had a coalition that they built and they ran under, and you've heard it referred to. They called it the Fusion Party over there, and they, I believe, ran a relatively successful campaign. And all I know is that all the the minor parties. I apologize, I had a whole rant earlier. Tune into the virtual enlightenment salon from earlier today, but I had a whole rant about minor parties. But all these Australian minor parties came together and they said, let's work together. We really agree with each other on a lot. We don't see a lot. We have far more in common than we have different. We should really find common ground, put ourselves out there, and they did. And I think they found success in it. I don't think Rome was built in a day. I think our parties were were founded in this century, and they will be successful in this century or the next. It takes time. These things need to be built up. I don't want things to be built up too quickly. I would rather things get done correctly. And if it takes, if it's a crawl, if we get there and it takes some time, I'm glad we got there. I don't want to jump into anything. I would hope that if anyone has any concerns about any coalition, they speak up on it. But I'm very hopeful for our joint futures. I think that there's something beautiful blooming, and I think there's a nice bright future ahead of the pirate and transhumanist parties, and I think if working together makes just a load of sense.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch. Dan and then Alan.
Yeah, on terms of policy building strategies, there's one that's often overlooked, and that I think is the municipal resolution or city council resolution. One that comes to mind that has been mirrored by thousands of cities is something called the Oakland Plant Medical Freedom Resolution, and it just directs law enforcement to put intercepting personal medical plant users at the very bottom of their enforcement priority list. And I proposed this to our city council, but apparently our city council here in Thousand Oaks, the one resolution that they endorsed was someone had put up like a Nazi banner over the 101 freeway, and they may put out this resolution. Oh, we reject hate, but that's like the only, I guess they're very resident to use the municipal resolution thing. But I think, some city councils do it all the time. And I think this is a great thing to talk about, like over ham radio or over, FT8 kind of digital, networks, or, I could see a whole discussion, about kind of grassroots policies, because, the municipal resolution, it doesn't really have, police power level enforcement behind it, but it still moves the needle. And I think it's a great way to do local policy action. So that's my comment on that. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, Dustin, one of the other things we were talking about was communication, how more secure communications, because, that there's so many things that are, maybe they are encrypted, but we can't trust the people that run it, because they'll turn things over to government at a moment's notice. And if you don't control it, if you don't own it and control it, you're at somebody else's behest for your security, and you don't have good OPSEC. So that what you were saying there with this over ham radio, obviously ham radio is a public broadcast on those frequencies, and it's, and there's some stuff there that we can get into. But yeah, I think there's definitely stuff to talk about when it comes to comms and OPSEC and trying to get some alternative means of communication. So
and this is probably more suited to like the keyboard to keyboard chatting mode rather than like yakking and phone mode.
Right. All right, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm posting in the message now just a little link, and I'll mention that later. But yeah, I think so. Somebody said like, I'm sure you guys have your geeks that are working on this stuff, and it's sort of every group has their team of geeks that are working on this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking that might be one of those areas of cooperation that
Absolutely.
we could certainly work toward. Right? I don't know, geek share doesn't sound right, but the idea is to help each other build out our infrastructure, and that's platform. I mean, it can be platform non-specific, right? It doesn't matter if you're voting for Genghis Khan or for the Wrath of Khan. It doesn't matter, right? Both groups need they need the tools. And one of the tools that I've found out there is the Democratic National Training Committee. They have all of their classes are they've got it all videotaped with sidebar stuff. Geek Swap. Yeah, there we go.
Geek Swarm Care. Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, and it's free. I mean, you have to say, yes, I'm a Democrat, but I can say that affirmatively with a small d, and I think that's important. And the classes are fantastic. Like I say, they're just little videos you can watch, but they also do live classes once you sign up for watching their videos. But it's all sorts of things: how to calculate your vote number to know how many people you need to contact, how many people you need to win the election. Then you kind of back up from there. How many contacts have you made by phone, by text, by email, and then strategies for each of those. They even have a database of like letters, like here's what's her name, Warren. I think one was by Senator Warren, Congresswoman Warren, whatever she is these days. That was basically one of her most effective letters. They're like, yeah, use this, and then they've got several by a fictitious character where they've just kind of wordsmith their best letters for either recruiting volunteers or just once you've got volunteers to have them send it out to solicit money, just everything that political parties need to do to function in the modern Americas, specifically in the United States. And it is a really valuable resource, absolutely free. Any group can use it. However, that's the training. They have software behind their training that is provided by supposedly nonpartisan firms, but I think they get their Democratic members of the company to talk to the Democrats and their Republican members of the company to talk to the Republicans. And so I know that they sell their own, various groups sell these kind of customer relations software that's specifically designed for canvassing voters and getting out to, for everything from establishing a platform to getting out to vote. So that stuff's out there. And if we could have our own Geek Swarm, then that would be fantastic for all the parties. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody else? We got anything else? Not seeing any hands right now.
I could add something.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm a fan of something called the Lifeboat Foundation, and their motto is safeguarding humanity. I think I have like a 3-digit membership number because I joined back in 2008, but that's Eric Klein in Nevada area. And, you look at a group like that and Electronic Frontier Foundation. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great, things we have in common.
100%. I love the EFF.
Yeah, so it's just a thought there that we should look at these organizations that are natural allies and figure out how to create cross-pollinations.
Yeah, awesome. Gennady, go ahead.
Yes, I'm all in support of working with natural allies. I also wanted to ask Alan to elaborate on some ideas or perhaps desirable outcomes with regard to more activism on the ground in particular localities or states. Because if there is a shortcoming that the Transhumanist Party has at this stage in its development, it is that we are very geographically dispersed. And sometimes if we want to achieve something at the state or local level, we just don't have enough people there. So for example, we attempted to get ballot access this year for Tom Ross and Daniel Tweed in Louisiana and Tennessee, because in both states, the thresholds were reasonable. Louisiana allowed access with a $500 fee and 9 electors. Tennessee offered access with 275 petition signatures and 11 electors. But our challenge was actually in getting the electors from each congressional district, because not every congressional district, especially the rural ones, had a transhumanist in it. So how can we more effectively promote our ground game, so to speak? And Alan, I'll let you elaborate.
Oh, well, thank you. I think I'm still on. I think it comes just from the founding nature or the creative nature of the Transhumanist Party, starting with Zoltan Istvan having aspiring for the presidency without having any state kind of machinery behind him. And so we have a fantastic nationwide structure. Thank you, Gennady, for that. What we don't have are local strong political parties. And based on my conversation with Mitch earlier today, sounds like you guys have a really strong ground game and not a lot of connectivity nationwide. So I think that maybe I'm underselling that last part, but to accentuate that we got something to offer. But I do think those are both important considerations. And one of the things that I've done is to go through the Transhumanist Party platform and take some of the rather what I really love to read. Take this as no offense, but the rather highbrow language and intellectual rigor that's been placed in that, and kind of break it down into kitchen table issues. It's yes, of course, we support technology and health and science in the current political discourse, but what does that mean when I start talking to my neighbors? About is that Bernie Sanders Medicare for all, or is that simply Fort Worth property taxes being used to help support the local college, which is one of the best, the University of North Texas Health Science Center, really big, kind of a big deal in developing medical technology, because they've fused their medical program with an entrepreneurial program. So that's an interesting feature of their college. TCU also has TCU's got a football team, so that gives them something. But they've got a nursing and medical pre-med program and a medical degree, higher level medical degree, doctor, whatever. What is that called? I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called when a doctor gets, what is that, a doctorate of doctoring? I don't know. Anyway, when one becomes
a degree, I don't know, postgrad, maybe.
It is a postgraduate degree, whatever a medical degree is. All that language aside. Yeah, I mean, Texas Christian University's got that going for them, and we have other smaller universities. So there's different ways to influence that healthcare issue, and part of that is local sanitation and keeping the river clean and all those kind of things that knock out disease kind of before they start. Paved sidewalks, curbs and gutters and sewage treatment plants. So all those things work together. All of those technologies come together. It's not just the cutting edge stuff that's happening at the universities or the local hospitals. But again, people got to value that. They've got to want that. They've got to be willing to understand the difference between access to insurance to get health care and access to health care. I mean, I think that's a fundamental misunderstanding that folks I don't know about where y'all live, but certainly people around here think they've got access to health care because they have access to insurance, and it's not always the case. So I'll just bring that around to like other organizations like the Greens. They are very strong anti-corruption and destruction against anti-corruption and destruction of the commons. Part of that is because they wanted to just remove people from the planet, right? But there's a middle ground in there somewhere that we can reach, right? We're already on the depopulation trajectory now, so I don't think that's critical. I think
they blew up that monument in Georgia. So,
are they the ones that did that?
I don't know if that was who did it. No. I'm just, when I say they, I just mean like generically they. Somebody did. Somebody did.
I know. Somebody did.
So,
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The what were those called? The Stones.
The Georgia Guidestones. Yeah.
Georgia Guidestones. Yeah, really.
Big
smart.
thing I heard from this discussion was you're sleeping on Mean Green Football.
All right, Dustin, you've got your hand up for a while. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would say on the, I guess I'm not sure if I would phrase it as a question earlier on like how to possibly approach things at the local levels despite having lower numbers. I would say a good approach for that might be to have mappings for our parties where we identify different issue-specific nonprofit organizations, like ranked choice voting specific promoting organizations, or single-payer healthcare promoting organizations, and people from the different parties can choose to work together and get experience with those specific organizations, develop experience in terms of ground game because they're more organized and have more people in some cases. Just we can do the work collaboratively to identify those kinds of organizations, and then as independent organization or as independent parties and as individuals within those parties, we can choose which ones we associate with and do work with, and that's a way to gain experience as well as get some credentials under the belt of our members through like actual ground game despite not having numbers. It's just a thought.
All right.
We were at least in DC with Make All Votes Count DC. We managed to get ranked choice voting passed more recently via ballot initiative. So it does work in some places through the nonprofit route for issue specific stuff.
Cool. Thank you, Dustin. Ty, you've had your hand up a while, and then we'll go back to Mitch.
Yes. There's a few things here. I am thoroughly impressed by the progressive and collaborative discussion taking place tonight. It's absolutely amazing, and I do have a lot to input, but I'm gonna save it because I do have to go. I'm a graveyard shift worker, and I have intentionally stayed over because it's like that binge watching episode. You know, you're in your series and you don't want to, the next episode starts playing and you don't want to stop watching it, and you just keep going. But I got to go. I didn't want to just leave abruptly and leave everybody hanging. I feel that would be rude. So I thank our guest Transhuman. I thank everybody for collaborating, but I'm going to dip, and I will probably have some input on the technical side of things afterwards, and I'll definitely pick up from here some other time on the live stream and watch the recording. So again, thank you, guests, for coming, and thank everybody as usual for being here. I'm going to dip out, and everybody, I'll see you later.
Thank you for the invitation.
Vote Pirate.
Thank you, Ty, and have a great night.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mitch, go ahead.
Ahoy. Believe it or not, I have lost my train of thought, but it's okay. It'll come back to me when it's inappropriate. So you guys go ahead, and I will, when it comes back to me, I'll let you guys know.
Well, I personally was thinking that we're kind of winding things down. I think we're definitely, I think we have a lot of synergy here. I think we have a lot of need to continue things. And I think this partnership can definitely flourish. And I think we do have similar problems though, Alan. We're very dispersed as well, and we're working on building parties in our respective states. But it's a long haul, and if collaborations can raise both of our profiles, sharing our audiences, I think, is a good idea too. All of this stuff, everything we've talked about tonight, I haven't heard a bad idea tonight. So I think it's all good stuff. So I look forward to seeing all this move forward. And thank you guys for coming on and being willing to cooperate. Mitch, go ahead.
I just wanted to finish up with a few things. I wanted to say, again, thank you guys for coming. I've said it before the meeting started. I said it in the middle of the meeting, and I'm saying it towards the end of it. I really enjoyed collaborating with you guys. You guys, Gennady, having you on Talk the Plank was great, and I enjoyed being on the Virtual Enlightenment Salon, very much so, in fact. This is one of my... if this is the last meeting of the year, this is a great meeting to end on. I feel very... very hopeful, I suppose, for 2025 and moving forward. I think that if this is a sign of things to come, I'm very, very pleased with it. And for what it's worth, though we are spread out, both our parties, I know that I, being in Illinois, there is a transhumanist by the name of Jason who's in Illinois. So, of course, we would be able to collaborate with this coalition. And, of course, Dan and Darren in California would be able to collaborate. And we have a Pirate Party of Texas. And we have people in Florida and all across the country, in Pennsylvania and Virginia. And just we are truly stronger together. We are better in union. And I think that working together can only produce fruitful results. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how soon you guys would like to meet again for collaboration. All I know is I would definitely like to leave a motion on the table to have them come back to perhaps formalize something, because this is definitely something I would like to see us all move forward with.
Well, without objection. Any objections to that? I see no hands from the USPP members, so I think that's going to fly, Jolly Mitch.
Fantastic.
And on that topic, I think I have a hall pass from our chairman that I can be a dual citizenship. I can have membership in the Transhumanist Party and the Pirate Party. So I don't know. What does it take to get like voting rights? Is there like membership fee? Or
no voting rights. Voting rights is you need to help develop a state party. So it's a membership. The membership for to being part of the board of the USPP. You are the elected or chosen member of the state party once the state party has reached the threshold of where it needs to be. So that's most of that stuff is outlined in our bylaws, the process and what that takes. And so yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do some local organizing to build party membership in Ventura County and California. And by the way, Darren, what was your call sign again? I was going to recommend to the Graveyard Shift guys.
KS6.
Do you want to just put it in the chat, Darren?
Yeah.
I'll put mine in the chat too.
Yeah.
But that's a great, thing if you're on a Graveyard Shift job, using your ham radio gear, there's all kinds of actually it's a transhumanist hobby because Japan has the highest percentage of hams and they are also the most longevity population. So I think there's a correlation between living long and being a ham. I'd like to do some experiments to figure this out.
I don't know. I've always been told that the high level exposure to high powered radio waves is really not good for you. But I mean, hey, I don't know.
No, QRP is a thing. It's using the absolute minimum power to make a QSO, which is a contact.
Right.
So yeah, you don't want to go crazy with the RF energy fields. You could get a burn if nothing else.
I'm already a little short on the hair department. I don't need to. Yeah. So
I was showing.
It's really easy. It's really easy to get your license. It's just a 30-question test. So they publish the answers. You just memorize the answers if you want. To get on the technician class, which gets you on the air. But yeah, anyway, that was kind of my main, political platform that I wrote for the local paper. Is I'm really running as an idea person to tell people get your ham license because ham radio is like the American experiment, on steroids.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you. I mean, I encourage everybody to get involved in that stuff. It's good stuff to do. Gennady, go ahead.
Yes, and I would like to thank Mitch for the motion to continue our collaboration. We would be happy to set up future meetings to discuss next steps and perhaps some actionable ways in which we could combine our resources to achieve our shared objectives. So that would be a great next step. I also wanted to share the fact that I was once in attendance at a pirate party when I was in college, and this was actually documented in my college newspaper. This was in 2008, and just by way of background, the name of the president of the college that I attended is Larry Arnn, ARNN. So this President Arn was also in attendance at the Pirate Party. So the article, which mentions me, quotes me as follows: pirates had their own version of a constitution, which included a separation of powers, said senior Gennady Stolyarov II. They weren't in any way libertarians, but they maintained order without a government on top of them. Stolyarov donned a business suit and carried a flash drive. I'm a software pirate, he said, grinning. I came last year with a CD, but CDs are now obsolete. When a rosy-cheeked Arn strolled into the party wearing a captain's hat with long gray feathers, he greeted Stolyarov, inquired about his costume, and asked to see the flash drive. Am I going to get my thumb drive back? Stolyarov asked. No, Arn answered, pocketing the flash drive with a chuckle. I'm a pirate too. So that was my last experience at a pirate party.
That is funny.
Well, we can get rowdy when we need to, but no, I think we're pretty friendly though. So I don't plan on stealing any of your flash drives. So yeah, Mitch, go ahead.
Esteemed guests, chairs of our two respected parties, to everyone who came in today, I want to say thank you. You guys are all you're wonderful people, and it's a wonderful party, and I look forward to the partnership that our two parties will have together. And I want to say, Drew, if purchasing isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft.
Right.
To adjourn.
Yeah.
All right. See, that's what I was waiting for. Okay.
You were a great guest, by the way. You did great on that.
Our voters. Do you want to just how's that? All say yay or nay. Just go for it.
Second it.
You second it.
Yes.
Go ahead. We're voting. Voting to adjourn, and then we'll close it out then if we're good.
Oh, I'd like to say, just I put my note in the chat, but I just want to say thanks for the invitation. To echo Mitch's statements, it's been great, and I also put my email and my phone number in there. I don't know about you pirates, but that was given freely. So yeah, please put me in touch with the chief pirate or local admiral in Texas, and I'll whatever that title is for you guys. The less dreaded pirate at the state level or whatever. Yeah. Thank you.
How did that if buying isn't ownership slogan go again? I love that. I want to get the wording.
If purchasing isn't ownership,
then piracy
isn't theft.
Or you could say sharing isn't stealing too.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I've done hashtag sharing is caring on a couple tweets before. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Creative Commons. Go open source and
absolutely.
Go make. Yeah.
Well, I'm not hearing any nays on that. So unless I see a hand like right now from one of our members saying no, then we're adjourned. And so what I'll say to that is thank you again, guys, for being here. Gennady, let me kick it to you to let our audience know where they can find the Transhumanist Party. And anything else you want to say in closing remarks?
Absolutely. Well, it has been a pleasure spending this weekend in discussions with the U.S. Pirate Party. I think we have the beginnings of a great collaboration. I would encourage everyone to visit our website at transhumanist-party.org to read our platform. Anybody is welcome to join the Transhumanist Party for free as a member, and one can be a member of other political parties simultaneously. And furthermore, you can find us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is U.S. Transhumanist Party. We have a Facebook group called Transhumanist Party. We are on both Twitter and Blue Sky. Of course, the U.S. Pirate Party knows where we are on Twitter. On Blue Sky, we have a recently established presence. Our account there is called Transhumanist. We're also on Instagram as US Transhumanist Party. And finally, we are on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/G Stoliaroff II. And you can find the channel here. I'm sharing the link, and you can go to the streams section of that channel to find our weekly live virtual enlightenment salon streams, like the one that we did with Mitch earlier today, every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It is a venue for in-depth conversations about politics, philosophy, science, technology, culture, and most importantly, the bridges, the connections among all of those fields of endeavor. And I think we can have many great salons with the Pirate Party in the future as well. So any of you would be welcome to join us for those, because we have many areas where I think we would benefit from an in-depth exploration of ideas. So thank you very much, and I look forward to more.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say in closing? All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. I think this is a great thing to do, and I look forward to this relationship blossoming. And yeah, so everybody get out there, vote Pirate, vote Transhumanist. Check us both out. For the Pirates, it's uspirates.org/join is the quickest way to get connected to us. We've got our Discord. Please get on the Discord. There's almost all of our discussions are going on that Discord server. I know some of you don't like Discord. We haven't found a better platform yet. If you have one, let us know. We'll be glad to try it out. But right now, Discord's the place where most of our activity takes place. So get in there and start the discussion. And we appreciate it, and we appreciate all this stuff. And yeah, so great. Thank you guys again. We'll see you in the new year, and we'll continue this relationship.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank
Live
you.
long and
Thank you.
prosper.
Darren, I
Live
think
long and prosper.
we're good then.
Pirate on and be
Okay.
excellent to each other.
Yeah, Drew, do y'all have a hand sign or anything? You got a secret handshake?
No, we don't. Not yet. No.